Hey guys, Maddie here from DCLblogger.com. Thought I would introduce a video that is going to be or should be at the start of a new series. Now, I want to start going through and do a bit of a weekly update of events or things that have happened in the NFT slash crypto collectibles space. They're kind of significant and are kind of progress in those respective games that have happened. I know people do this for cryptocurrency in general or just the blockchain world, but I wanted to kind of drill it down and just do it specifically for NFTs because rarely do I come across content that kind of gives me an overall picture of what's happening in the NFT space. It's usually me kind of joining different Discord groups and trying to figure out, asking moderators, trying to figure out what's going on, or reading individual blog posts. So I feel like there needs to be a bit of an aggregator. Anyway, let's just start with the DApp rankings. So some of the rankings shifts that have happened, some interesting movements that are happening. This is OpenSea rankings that I'm looking at the moment. I think Non-Fungibles does them too. But just looking at OpenSea, which is a kind of an NFT marketplace. You could trade NFTs for ETH or other cryptocurrencies on their marketplace. So Decentraland, last 7 days volume, we have noticed over 1,000 Ethereum in a daily trading volume. For the week. Now, the 7 day change for that's been an additional 60%. What I've noticed, guys, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, there's been a lot more activity in Decentraland than previously. There's been a bit of a slow and a quiet phase after the second auction. I think a lot of people kind of ran out of money. A lot of people bought all the lands that they wanted to in the second auction, and then it just didn't make logical sense for them to buy after when the lands just just sold for about 7 to 8,000 mana at the low point in the second auction. People that missed out were really looking for good deals, kind of bummed out that they didn't get the price they were looking for. But I think we all noticed a bit of a slow period in the sales market. There were still pretty consistent sales. I think there's about 10 to 15 per day. But now we're seeing a decent sales again. I think I'm starting to notice over 500,000 mana sales days, over probably 20 to 30 lands sold a day, which is really good coming up to the land builder contest that's coming up on the 15th of this month. Some more movements that we have, Axie Infinity has just gone up 9x. I think there has been some big factors to that. I'm going to go through some of them in a second. And also I noticed some other movements. Where are they? No, not them. Some of these I don't really know what they are. And I don't really talk about them unless they've got significant volume. But there was another one that caught my eye. I think it was these guys, Crypto Space Commanders. 4,300%. Okay, so it's gone up 43 times. I don't really know how much sales they've been doing the week before that. I know Crypto Space Commanders are made by the same guys that I think made MLB Crypto Baseball, Lucid Site, I believe. So they are of interest to me because Lucid Site makes some pretty decent games. But yeah, they seem to have a pretty decent Discord team, and I've been checking up on them every now and then. I'm not covering them in this video, but just interesting to keep watching their progress. So we're looking at Decentraland. I've noticed a lot of estates selling small to mid size, and the average price per parcel for these estates have been about 12 to 20,000 mana range, and they're nothing special. It's not that they're connected to anything really big, but small to medium sized estates seem to be disappearing off the map of Decentraland at the moment. There's not that many of them, and 2x2 estates, so people with 4 pieces of land. I think there's a decent market for that specific 2x2 piece. So personally, I've been collecting 2x2 pieces of lands. What else do we have? So this is the Decentraland Virtual Worlds blog post. I think they just posted this today actually. So it's 10 a.m. in the morning here in Melbourne. So for me, this was kind of read in the morning. It was really interesting just reading the history of immersive worlds and media, how people started socializing online and how that all came about. But for me specifically, the interest was I kind of found this part really cool. So just going through a bit of a timeline and how new games kind of redeveloped or pioneered the way for a few years. We have Second Life. It was introduced in 2003, and then EVE Online, World of Warcraft obviously after that, and Decentraland is attempting to shape a lot of this stuff. And some of the key things mentioned that, so what makes virtual worlds more than just a game? I'm going to let you guys read the bulk of this, but some interesting points was the world must mimic, recreate, or be based on certain elements of reality. Okay, it must allow individuals to enter the world and represent themselves within it via an avatar. So I think people like to represent themselves, which is, like whenever you get a new game on PlayStation 4 or even any, start playing any RPG games, the kind of games that you have to go in the world and explore, you notice that you have to build your character first. So almost the first thing you have to do is, even in Pokemon, remember, you have to name your person to choose if you're a boy or a girl. People like to kind of build their identity online as well, and identity is a really important factor. Some really interesting points as well was, how does Decentraland fit in and how does this stand out? Again, I'm going to let you guys read the bulk of this. I just really want to touch upon the last point of this. Our product lead, Tony Sheng, summarized the impact of Decentraland's true public ownership on the podcast. Our thesis is that by giving people more ownership over the place, it will have more lasting value, incentivize people to contribute more to that world. So this is a really interesting line here, I think. The sum of the contribution of all the people that own the world will dwarf any contributions a single company could make to the world. And that's really interesting, guys, because Decentraland is an experiment at this stage, and it is a true pioneer in the sense that the world is going to be owned by the users. Everyone's going to be trying to put value within their certain piece of land, and everyone's land is within just this limit of 45,000 pieces of land. So unlike Second Life or other worlds where the world is quite vast and you can enter and build, a lot on your piece of land, it's going to force everyone to kind of have neighbors and build things and check out things around them. And people that are visiting the Decentraland world will just notice a lot of activity going on in a small area. I mean, it's not that small, it's big, but relatively small to online worlds is what I'm saying. So that's interesting in the sense that public ownership will come from the people that own it, each piece of land or estate, and the world will be built off of that. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out compared to people that are that are building their worlds on a world that's already owned by a company. The competition is coming up really soon, guys. Content building competition on the 15th of this month. So I think they're continuously tweaking it, getting feedback, and getting, adding different models and textures. It's really interesting to see this. I mean, like, if I could build anything similar to this, it would be really, really cool. So I'm actually really excited to participate and use the builder, to be honest, because it's going to be really awesome to build something that I know I'll be visiting in virtual reality at some point. There's plenty of prizes to win. I think the first prize is about 200,000 mana, which is a decent amount of money. All right, let's move on to Axie Infinity. So Axie just sold I think this is a record sale for them, the most expensive Axie that's ever sold, 85 Ethereum. Now I believe that's over 10,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money for a digital pet. I think it's a record for a digital pet. I can't think of any other online pets that have sold for this much. But yeah, 10,000 US dollars for this Axie. What makes this Axie so special? I've played Axie Infinity a little bit. I'm definitely not a power user of Axie Infinity, but I'm a supporter because I know they do consistent volume. I know they've been consistently building and communicating with their members, and they want to build a pretty cool game. So looking at this, I have seen, and I do know to a certain extent what gives their Axie's value. If you don't know what Axie Infinity is, it's kind of like think of Tamagotchi mixed with Pokemon. It's like having a digital pet that you can breed with other axes and build like you know, like take care of it and enter it into mini games and all that kind of stuff. But this specific one, so how they started off with having a pre-sale where you could buy a beast axie, a plant axie, and a water aqua axie, I believe. And you know, that would give you a random axie that had random parts. All these parts are randomly generated, and some of these parts would be mystic. So you can see here the light blue ones are mystic parts, and I think these can be upgraded to legendary parts with experience, and only the mystic parts can be upgraded to legendary. As far as I think I'll have to confirm that. So axies that had mystic parts, like an axie with just one mystic part is worth about probably 1.5 to 2 Ethereum at the bare minimum, which is a lot more valuable than an axie that doesn't have a mystic part. So an axie with no mystic parts can go as cheap as like 0.02 Ethereum at the moment, without any special features. But this specific one has 3 mystic parts, and there's only 17 axies in the whole game that have 3 mystic parts. And you can't get axies with mystic parts anymore because the mystic part axies were only part of the pre-sale that ended like a year ago. So all the new axies that you generate, none of them have mystic parts, and you can't even breed new ones. So there's a very limited amount, and they're obviously like Gen 0 axies. There's only 17 of these that have 3 mystic parts in one axie. There's one, I think there's 3 axies that have 4 mystic parts, so like a quad mystic axie, which are probably worth a lot more, maybe over 100 Ethereum, but I don't think people are selling them anytime soon. But yeah, there's that one. The land sale for Axie Infinity, again, like they're building a kind of world where you can explore and defeat chimeras and get experience, and kind of building a world where you can breed, you know, you can let your Axies live upon and build more of a immersive experience for your digital pet. But you can see here that a lot of the land has already been bought. So pretty much the light green and the white colors are the only parts available to buy on the map. All of these mystic parts, mystic lands have been bought, and all of the savannah lands have been bought. So it's really interesting to see how they are progressing with this. 75% of land has been purchased for Axie Infinity. I'm going to put all the links at the bottom if you guys want to purchase any land or any cards from Gods Unchained or anything at all that I'm going to go through in the video. But yeah, that's really interesting to see. 577 different owners. So yeah, there is only forest chests and arctic chests available to buy. You get different items in each one, and your land, which was gonna look like this if you haven't seen it already. So each one piece of land or one block in that piece of land. No, I think it's one piece of land is gonna look like this. We'll let that load for a bit. They also distributed their plushie, their Chimera plushie, which was, I remember during the auction they had a bit of a bug and some people couldn't open their chests, and the people that were able to open their chests really quickly got really low number pulls. So for example, each one of these items has a number on it. The lower the number, obviously the quicker it was minted. So you can see some of my numbers are pretty low. So number 4 for this one, number 5 for this one. I got some number 1s actually as well. I got a number 1 icy finely crafted flowers. So that's the first of this item that exists in the game, and there's like probably hundreds and hundreds of these items. So there's obviously value there, and some people weren't able to open their chest really quickly. So what Axie Infinity did was say that they were going to give these people a certain item. So these ones came out, I think these got distributed a day ago or maybe a couple of days ago, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's a mystic chimera, and there's a limited amount of them introduced into the item world, and it's a good way for them to kind of solve that issue, because I know a lot of people were getting annoyed with it. Alright, has this loaded? So that's my little Axie. You can kind of move it around, get to do things. These are different items that a statue commemorating the victory of the legendary Axie princess. Okay, so these different items give different things. So some of them give like a 10% bonus for, you know, your Axie, etc, etc. So anyway, they're building a world that's just going to have a bunch of, you know, people playing around with their pets in the virtual world. Let me close some of these. This is really draining my system right now. All right, guys. So now to talk about Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained, the card game that's going to be released soon, I believe. They're kind of testing the beta. They're in the beta testing stage. But if you don't know what Gods Unchained is, think of Hearthstone or Hearthstone. I don't know how to pronounce that. Maybe we'll just stick with Hearthstone. But that was an amazing game. I played that. I was pretty addicted to it. I deleted it off my mobile phone because I was way too addicted to it. But this is pretty much based on that game, and it's like a card game where you can buy different card packs and you can get different cards, right? So what happened last week, or this week, I believe, was someone pulled one of the mystics out. So you can get different shines. Some of these shines are mystics, some of these shines are diamond, gold, etc, etc. There's only like 4 mythic, sorry, not mystics, mythic. There's only like 4 mythic cards in all of Gods Unchained, and so these were found by buying the packs. So people have bought thousands and thousands of packs, and finally you can see this one here, Hyperion, was sold for $62,000 back last year. Can't remember when it was, maybe mid last year, not too sure, but basically this bad boy sold for I think 145 Ethereum, around 145 Ethereum, $62,000. So this was sold at an auction, but these other two were kind of pulled from packs, and this one was pulled from a pack recently. And yeah, lucky him. I mean, like, that's a really cool card. If this sold for 60k, then this would probably be a similar value. Maybe not the same value, but I mean, it's a mythic, and there's only one of each cards. Gods Unchained is a pretty popular game, guys. It is my next most anticipated platform or game after Decentraland. Like, I'm not heavily invested, probably like maybe 10 Ethereum in Gods Unchained. I'm holding back just to see what the item or the card count's going to be for all of these, just to figure out my investment strategy. But when the marketplace opens, like, you can, people are going to be trading all kinds of cards with each other, and I think when the game goes live, you're not going to be able to buy these packs anymore. They're going to be part of only the pre-sale. I just feel like the people behind these Gods Unchained, I think it's Fuel Games, they just really know how to make a game, in the sense of just the overall concept and the certain characteristics like scarcity and the fun of randomizing, of pulling a pack and then getting random cards. I just feel like they know where they're going with the games that they're releasing. Anyway, so that's interesting. And one really cool thing we can do it really quick, is we can replay the card opening. We can replay the card open. Let's see if we can do that again with sound. So I actually muted it because it was making sound in the background. But yeah, we can replay the card opening of that Mythic Titan. Let's do it again. All right, you ready? So it must have been it's a rare pack that this person opened, which is like, I don't know, it's like 0.02 Ethereum. It's pretty cheap. No, was it this one? Damn, man, if I pulled that, I would have been so happy. Let's imagine flipping that one over. Anyway, what were the other two? So nothing special about the other 3, 4. But yeah, that's pretty sick. All right, let's close that. I think that will help save up my system a little bit. But yeah, so that's Gods Unchained for you guys. Chain Breakers. If you're not familiar with Chain Breakers, it's going to be a game releasing on Decentraland, which is pretty cool. But yeah, they're holding their pre-sale in Mana, so you can buy different sets and armors, weapons, all kinds of stuff for your player. And they are kind of finishing up with their Gen 1 parts, so it's going to flip over to Gen 2. Rare item appearance changes with Gen 2. So they just released a blog post saying that on April 2nd, we are the crowd sale is switching to Gen 2, which means that there's a bit of a difference between the two items. So this is a Gen 1, this is a Gen 2. Obviously Gen 2 parts aren't as valuable as the Gen 1, but yeah, that is going to be an interesting change. It's going to be interesting to see if that pushes more people to buy in the current pre-sale, the current crowd sale that's happening for Gen 1. But I'm very excited about Chainbreakers because they're allowing people to host gameplay on their lands, which is a really smart idea. So it's going to be really cool to see this game come on board onto Decentraland. What else we have? Ethereum. Ethereum, guys, was my first love. Like, it was my first NFT game that I invested in. Kind of like Pokemon. I'm a pretty big fan of Pokemon. So, like, seeing something like this, where someone's trying to create, a game similar to Pokemon on the blockchain where you can trade Pokemon. A very smart idea. It'd be really cool if Pokemon themselves start to implement blockchain and you can trade different Pokemons and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the one interesting thing about this is that they're releasing their world map. The new Ethereum map will be scheduled on this Thursday, which is today. So we're a bit ahead in Melbourne compared to the rest of the world, so this might be a little bit later on today. Honorable mentions. So some other couple of things I wanted to touch upon. My crypto heroes. Now, I have no idea what's going on with my crypto heroes. All I see is a lot of I just see a lot of like activity. You know, there's so much volume going on. My crypto heroes are always doing really good, but I have never played it before. It's in Japanese, so I have no idea what is going on with it. So if anyone plays my crypto hero, like, is it that good? What is it all about? Seems fun, but I mean, it's like doing a lot of volume, and I can't think of it doing, half the volume of Decentraland, and no one I know about in my little NFT world has ever played it or knows much about it, or is kind of like talking about it, right? You don't really hear much about it. And yeah, I get it, it's in Japanese, but I mean, surely some people would have played it. Anyway, if you know what's going on with my crypto heroes, let me know. The Sandbox. All right, so this is a really interesting game that I've had my eyes on for a while now. A decentralized gaming platform made by players. So this is kind of like Minecraft, but you can build games, your own games and things, right? So I'm gonna let you guys look at this yourselves, but you can sell and trade your creations on the marketplace. It's going to be built on the blockchain. Obviously, create your own voxel worlds and assets. Now, one really interesting connection I want to make is that the Sandbox come under a company, I think, called Pixel L Inc. I believe that's them, and they recently got bought over by Animoca Brands. Now, Animoca Brands, if you remember, are in a partnership with Decentraland. So Animoca Brands secures collaboration agreement with the Decentraland. So one of the things that they're going to bring on board is Animoca Brands signs collaboration agreement with the Decentraland to co-develop 2 games for the Decentraland platform. Okay, so they're going to co-develop 2 games for the Decentraland platform. Now check this out. So a while back in December, Animoca Brands have partnered with Atari to bring Roller Coaster Tycoon and Goon Squad to the blockchain. Animoca Brand partners with Atari to make blockchain versions of the popular mobile games Roller Coaster Tycoon, Touch, and Goon Squad. Are these 2 games gonna be the same 2 games that they're gonna bring on Decentraland? It's blowing my mind at the moment. Is that what's going to happen? Because if it is, that's pretty epic. If there's any hint of Atari coming to Decentraland, oh my god, that's gonna be awesome. But obviously, there's some connections here. Is it gonna happen? Obviously, all kind of half speculation, but hopefully that might happen. But yeah, so the Sandbox kind of fits into all of this. Also, if you read this little bit down here, where it says Animoca Brand's relationship with Decentraland will assist in raising funds for the upcoming The Sandbox token sale. All right. So the Decentraland will assist in raising funds for the upcoming The Sandbox token sale. So the Sandbox are holding their own token sale. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know how this token sale is going to be, but I think the sandbox is going to be a pretty decent game. Building out, I mean, Minecraft was pretty big, right? This looks pretty fun. So, and if we can bring this in any form to Decentraland, maybe to view your creations in virtual reality, it's going to be pretty epic. So, I mean, like, yeah, there's connections everywhere with, you know, the sandbox, Animoca brands, Decentraland. I don't think the sandbox have affiliated themselves with Decentraland in any way at the moment. So I don't want to say that they're officially partnered or anything like that. But I just feel like there's going to be some kind of collaboration going on. So that's insanely interesting to me. So that's it, guys. That's it for this week. I definitely, most probably, missed out on some things. So if you know any other games, for the next week's episode of the series, let me know. I love covering different NFT projects. I love keeping an eye on this space. It's very interesting to me, specifically for the economy that each game brings to the world. You know, blockchain has allowed us to trade items really quickly, and there's so much transfer of value happening, and it's allowing that to happen in a more secure and safe environment. So for a investor and trader like me, that's just like a dream come true for me, to be honest. And anyone that's young, middle-aged at the moment, and that have like another 20 to 30 years ahead of them, you know, being active and healthy, then we're living in really exciting times. I think transfer of value is going to happen at so much higher speed and in a more secure environment. Than there's just going to be so much opportunity online, way more than there is at the moment, and there's so much already. So yeah, if you guys are interested to join my Discord, please do so. I will put the link on the YouTube video at the bottom. NFT Moneymakers, we discuss different stuff about NFTs. You also get access to a Decentraland sales notifier that one of our really cool members have built. You can check out the sales that happen in Decentraland on real time. So every time there's a sale, you get pinged, and it'll tell you how much mana it's sold for. And I check up on this every day, to be honest, probably like 20 times a day. And lo and behold, one of my parcels just sold, 1014. Okay, that's pretty cool. 13,500 mana. And last thing, guys, just make sure you comment and subscribe. Let YouTube know my content is good. If you do anything like that, even if you just give it an upvote, a view, share it somewhere, comment, subscribe, you know, something like that, it just lets YouTube know that my content is good, and it'll distribute my content in other people's recommended feeds that follow blockchain, etc. So I hope this video brought some value to you. Let me know if I should continue with the series. I'll see you guys in another video.